A good way of trying to get performance out of your steep slope skiing is looking at jump turns. Jump turns are great. They get you the ability to be able to spring and launch yourself out of difficult situations, but also if you use them tactfully, you can land on a good edge and avoid yourself slipping down the hill. Big thing on jump turns, really very similar to the pivot turn, the braquage turn, is that you want your body facing down the fall line and let your steering come from your legs. Good solid pole plant to initiate, and it's key that the legs are doing the movement to get you in the air. A lot of people bend their waist in anticipation to make it. Just going to try one here. It's a nice steep pitch. Get my pole plant ready, body facing down the hill, setting off, and use the legs, launch. And again, use the legs, launch. Obviously, before you get onto these type of gradients, or any type of gradient that feels steep to you, achieve your jump turns on a flat piste. Get the technique right first, and obviously make sure it suits your ability. It's very important to make sure you can dominate your ski boot flex. A lot of people get locked out of those jump turns because they can't bend the ankle joint in relation to the knee and the hip flex. So take a moment and just make sure to check your boots do flex correctly. You need good flexibility in the ankle joint. The amount of skiers that we come across at the academy that don't have ankle flex and actually go through the whole learning process and ski usually with their weight back. If you look down at the boots here, it's very tight around the top, not too tight, but it's tight here. This buckle's nice and tight, but not restrictive. So when I go to make a flexing movement, you can see that I can bend the boot, and ideally if that joint flexes and moves correctly, everything else shuffles in the same line and keeping your hips over the middle of your feet. The problem with many skiers not having enough flex in the ankles, they actually bend their knee joint and sit their body weight back here. And you can only imagine on a steep slope, when the gradient changes like this, you need to better adjust to it. But if you can't bend your ankle joint, it's going to be walking along the street with your body weight back like that, and nobody wants that. So a great exercise to try and build up that domination of your ski boot flex is simply raising the leg, your downhill ski, focusing on this boot of the leg that's going to become the new outside ski. Test your flexibility on that boot, and using your pole to balance just down here, you're going to try hopping around 180 degrees, and that movement will ensure whether you're in balance or not. A lot of people, as they're hopping around, they get into the fall line, the weight goes back because they're not dominating their boot flex. Going to try it on the other side now. Going to use your pole to support you, lifting up the downhill leg, and you're going to get some flexibility in this ankle joint just here. And as you're working your way around, hop, 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 trying to stay in balance and try to remain in the middle of the ski. So every time you land from hopping, you've got to flex into the boot. Use that boot to support you.
In order to make the most out of your jump turns on steeper terrain, you'll need to be able to link them together in an effortless flow. The best place to start this is on the piste, gradually taking on steeper pitches as you develop your technique and confidence.
I checked, first of all, that the ankle was flexing, the knee followed, the hip followed, and everything rebounded. So when I landed, my body weight didn't go back. It went right down through the middle of the ski and helped me ping back up in the air in balance. Every time I went to start a new turn as well, I made sure my poles were walking down the hill, not leaving it too late, but getting a constant movement with that wrist. Pull and jump, pull and jump.
The bruises were never worth it to take away the